How would you like to get 10, 15, 20, or even 25% return on your investment in just 180 days mandated by the government? Sound impossible? Well, it's available to you right now, but it's only possible in 6 states, which I'll reveal to you in just a minute. And I'll also reveal how Jeff, my student, used this strategy to receive $22,000 in revenue in just 12 months, all mandated by the state government. When investors get into tax defaulted real estate, they come across an area that can be confusing, and they avoid redeemable tax defaulted properties because they don't understand the rules of engagement. With redeemable tax deed auctions, what student investors don't realize is there are government mandated returns. To begin, redeemable deeds can be considered a passive investment. New investors must wait a short redemption period, and then they will receive a high rate of up to 25% ROI, that's return on investment. Most tax defaulted property investors, especially beginners, find the redemption period confusing and abstract. This causes them to avoid the states which auction redeemable tax defaulted properties. I've tested and perfected dozens of strategies and techniques over the past 30 years. Countless students have put them to work for themselves and have made amazing profits using this process. Currently, only 6 legislatures authorize the official county treasurer to conduct a redeemable tax defaulted auction. The deed which they issue will be considered a redeemable deed according to the rules of that state. As you may know, the tax deed is a document, nothing more than a piece of paper, that transfers real estate from the tax defaulted property owner to the local county, and then the local county treasurer auctions that property and the deed to the highest bidder at a public auction. The most well-known state which auctions redeemable deeds is Texas. Texas pays the investor a whopping 25% penalty return when the bidder pays the delinquent property tax. Tax defaulted auctions are conducted every month in Texas. The constable at the auction sells a redeemable deed. The investor with the highest bid wins the auction. And once the auctioneer brings the gavel down, the clock begins ticking on a 180-day redemption period. The delinquent property owner may request a return of the property or redemption anytime during that 180-day period. In order to do so, they must follow the rules of the auction posted on the county website. Tax defaulted auctions are a serious business. Usually constables, sometimes county officials or sheriff officers, conduct the auction and they follow a strict schedule. People refer to this auction as by the book. In other words, the constable or the official treasurer will follow a standard operating process. That's called SOP. These are rules of engagement. The treasurer is required by law and authorized to follow the legislative mandate disclosed in the auction rules. When the delinquent property owner requests redemption of their property, they must pay 100% of the money the highest bidder paid the treasurer at the auction, plus an additional 25% penalty. There are no partial payments, no payment plans, no flexibility. The delinquent property owner must pay the tax deed investor 100% of the capital they invested plus 25% penalty. All that must take place within 180 days. So if you're looking to invest your money with specific returns, you may be asking, where can I invest and earn a return of 25%? Texas is not the only redeemable deed state. Georgia, with 169 counties, also conducts monthly tax defaulted redeemable deed auctions. Working for the county, the sheriff or ex officio sheriff will conduct live auctions of tax defaulted redeemable deed properties monthly in Georgia. All auctions are scheduled on the second Tuesday of the month in Georgia. Recently, my student, Jeff Dubay, after finishing his training, visited and bid at a number of auctions in Georgia. His returns have been mandated by law, a solid 20% ROI. That's return on investment. I call that exceptional. More about that in a minute. Georgia is a rural state. The large population counties will have 25, sometimes 100 properties to auction. The counties close to big cities will have more properties. Anyone can attend and bid if they follow the auction rules. The auction process is live. The sheriff actually sells the property and issues a redeemable deed, which goes to the highest bidder. The bidding starts at the past due delinquent property taxes and goes up from there. The auctioneer will auction anything from vacant residential lots, parcels of land, single-family homes, small apartments, and small farms. Auction rules are different from county to county. Counties have unique rules, and the bidder needs to be aware of those rules before bidding at the auction. The auction process starts the clock ticking on the redemption period. For example, in Georgia, unlike Texas, the right of redemption is 365 days. It starts on the day of the auction and is completed after 365 days. Texas and 5 other states have different redemption periods. This information is always written in the rules on the county website. In Georgia, the delinquent property owner has 1 year from the time of the auction sale to come forward and request redemption. When the redemption period has run, that is expired, the successful highest bidder at the auction in Georgia must file a foreclosure legal action to eliminate the right of redemption. This gives the property owner even more time for the foreclosure clock to expire. Expect to find different rules of redemption from state to state. County governments do everything possible to eliminate controversy, and you can expect the counties to be by the book when it comes to auction. You're probably thinking to yourself, this is not traditional real estate or traditional auctions, and you are correct. It's contrarian. However, it's one of the best ways I know to build a high-income business that lets you live the lifestyle that you deserve. After all, if you continue to do what everyone else is doing, you'll get what everyone else is getting. And that usually means you're not earning enough money. That is not so at redeemable tax-defaulted property auctions. This is a business of abundance. So what are the 6 states that auction tax-defaulted redeemable deeds? They are Texas, 25%. Georgia, you earn 20%. Delaware, 15%. Hawaii, 12%. Tennessee, 10%. Rhode Island, 10%. And how did my student Jeff make over $22,000 on his tax-delinquent property investments? I'll cover that in just a moment. But first, meanwhile, I want to remind you our training covers all 50 states. Jeff made the decision to search for investments in a state close to his home. He chose Georgia. He found hundreds of properties were available. Living in Florida, traveling to neighboring Georgia, Jeff found and invested in 4 small properties at the redeemable tax-defaulted auctions. His total bidding amounted to over $100,000, following our specific criteria. Each of the properties Jeff bid on and won, the ex officio sheriff issued a redeemable deed. Over a period of the next few months, all of those properties redeemed. In other words, the property owner came forward and requested to repurchase their property, which is allowed by law. However, the delinquent property owner who is repurchasing their property must pay 100% of the maximum bid plus a 20% penalty. With a return of 20% on his investments in Georgia, mandated by the government, Jeff made over $22,000 within 12 months of the auction. And the beauty of these investments is that you do not have to wait 365 days to get a return on your investment. It works like this. Whenever the tax defaulted taxpayer comes forward to redeem, that is, reclaim the property, it could be 5 days, 25 days, 50 days, or even 300 days. The delinquent property owner must pay the auction buyer 100% of their purchase price plus a penalty of 20% in Georgia. The bidder at the auction receives their money back plus 20%. It could be in as short as 1 day or as long as 365 days. For clarity, the defaulting property owner in Georgia has 365 days to redeem. In Texas, the defaulting property owner only has 180 days. Each state legislature makes their own rules. Anytime during the 180-day redemption period in Texas, the property owner may recover their property by simply paying the winning bidder the full price plus 25% penalty. Think about this. Where else can you get mandated returns of this magnitude on your investment in such a short period of time? The state legislature mandates the local government must confiscate and then resell tax defaulted property. In the redeemable tax deed states, if the tax defaulted property owner doesn't pay within the redemption period, the winning bidder gets the property. It's as simple as that. If you are new to the tax deed auctions or you have won a number of tax deeds, there are certain things that tax defaulted property experts do that you probably don't do. To check out what they are and put them to work for you, click the video on your screen now or click the link in the description below.